watch it on YouTube. I'm recording on my computer. Well, welcome to Dragoman mock event, mock interpreting event. We have our dearest speaker, Guven Acik. I met Guven 25 years ago. He had one of the largest interpreting and translation agencies in 1990s in Istanbul. And then he opened a language school, a publication. I think you also created a print office, and then you moved on to other businesses, and then you decided to continue your career as a business advisor. And as far as I'm concerned, you are advising to several dozens of SMEs, C-level executives in Turkey, and some also foreigners. You have seen so many crises in the past. You know language industry very well as well. So here we are. Your 20 minutes have started. Guven, the floor is yours.
Okay. So thank you, Amit, for presenting me. So I will mute the original audio and I will start if everybody is ready. And if everybody is hearing me. So hello, everyone. So for some of you, I will say good evening. For some of you, I will say good morning. I kindly thank you to Dragoman Interpreting Company for hosting me and for this Zoom conference. I wish everyone a good health and patience during this shutdown period of the world.
Bu dünyada herkes eve kapanmış. Yani böyle.
I know the conference is limited with 20 minutes, so I want to use the time very efficiently as much as I can. Then I will answer your questions if there is any. So I'm going to talk about why the shutdown. I'm not going to talk about the shutdown of the company because there's lots of stories behind it, but I will give you some hints how to survive in such a epidemic or a pandemic. At first, when we define the topic as globally, we are in the middle of really BS. This pandemic is affecting the whole world and also each of us, wherever you are on the world. So it is not a small issue, it's really an important issue for each of us on who is living as a human being at the moment. The pandemic actually remind us several values and beliefs that we have almost lost them, such as health, family, relations, and being a part of a community and a whole world. The loser of this pandemic, as far as I guess, maybe you approve or not, is the money. Money is the loser of this pandemic because we understood that money is less important than some other values that we have at the moment. Also realized how we harm the world and the revenge of the nature will make
Verdiğimizi görüyoruz ve doğanın
نطيق أن نحيا أو أن
Se guardiamo al mondo, al vecchio mondo, dell'intero mondo, affronteremo sicuramente un momento di
e econômica na 30% sokratится.
Milhões de pessoas vão perder seus empregos, vão
trabajos y muchos países
I'm sorry, I'm back again. Either we will unite and as a whole world as the human beings, and we will write the human on the nature rights again. So we will break into pieces, and either we will unite or we will break into pieces and try to take care of ourselves and our independence. People who are on earth will approve this in time, not the admins of the superpowers or the global money sucking international companies. So the human beings are surviving in such a condition, and we will at the end realize that what is important and what's not important for all of us. At the end, each of us is responsible from ourselves and our family. So first, we should stay healthy and especially mentally healthy. During such a disaster, to maintain our psychology is not something we used to. We were not prepared for such a pandemic. We are not ready for most of these unexpected situations. Maybe some of us be ready for such a thing, but most of us don't. To maintain a healthy brain, we should understand that it is not important during this time. Nowadays, the most important thing is our health. And it is above any value that we have at the moment. So health is our major issue for all of us right now. Then our family, our home, our neighbors, and the rest of the human beings are more important during these days.
Ja kaikki ihmiset ovat tärkeimpiä tällä hetkellä. Eli hyvän terveyden ylläpitäminen.
Healthy, and you should exercise, and you should quit smoking and drinking alcohol. You should stop consuming sugar, salt, and flavor to be keeping yourself healthy during this period.
Mantenere la nostra salute in questo periodo. E quindi
you can survive in such a pandemic, because otherwise you cannot control anything which you're supposed to. To cope this situation, there are some steps to follow which are occurring during the emergency cases. First one is accepting this pandemic as a reality. This is not a joke. This is not, we are not watching a movie. This is not happening for fun. This is something real, and it is very dangerous for each of us, and we have to be very careful of our lives. So far, I mean, since February, 9 of my friends passed away because of this disaster. So I'm not very happy about this pandemic, which is affecting the whole country. And I have around 11 friends still surviving in the hospitals of Turkey against this Corona-19 virus. So in order to keep ourselves healthy, mentally healthy, the very first thing is we have to accept this as a reality, and we have to wake up and we have to get ready for this issue as quickly as possible. This is real. This is killing people. Maybe it's not affecting you, but if you have some relatives or your friends in the hospitalized, or if you have doctor's friends, you can understand that this case is not a joke. It is real, and we have to be really, really careful about what's going on at the moment. As a second issue, what we need to do is we have to prepare an emergency plan. How we should do this? We should consult our friends who are mentors, who are really have good insights about these issues, these matters. And so we have to get together with these friends who are able to mentor us or who have some good insights about this pandemic. And we should all together work on this urgency plan, and we should decide what we need to do, how to cope with these difficulty times. We need a lot of information from all over the world or with our friends so that we can cope and maintain a better situation or against to this pandemic which we are affected by. As third, we have to be aware of that we have to be aware of what we can do plus what we cannot do at the moment, which is either in our control or which we cannot control. There are certain things that we can control, and we should directly go ahead and control it. Or if there are issues that we cannot control, so we don't need to behave such a hero or behave such a superhero that you can control or nothing happens to you, so you can survive. So it's a dream. It is really critical, and you should really rely on what you can do, and you shouldn't do what you're not supposed to do. So it is not a simple issue. It is a really issue that will affect and is affecting the whole world at the moment. So we have to be very careful at this stage. So as a fourth step, what we need to do is we have to stay on focus on our survival mode and keep our good work, and don't let our emotions control ourselves, that we can survive in such a crisis period. So in these kind of crises or these kind of unexpected situations, most of the time our emotions get the control, and it directly affects all of our reactions, our psychology, our health, and all of our behaviors during this unexpected and a critical term and time. So in order to not to be affected by our emotions, we have to first realize that this is something not in the control of our brain. It is in our conscious mind that we can control it. And what we need to do is we have to benefit from our body, because there's a direct relation between our mind and body. And if the mind controls the body, it goes to a disaster. But if you recognize that you're in such a condition, you can get the help of your body, and you have to control your body with certain things that you can do, which will help you to start to regain your mind, and you can control your own mind and your own life and all of your behaviors in your situation which you are in. What you can do during this period, you have to take the advantage of your body. So first thing that you can do in such a condition, if you start to lose your psychology, if you start to lose your all of your attention, all of your or controls on your emotions. So first thing is get your whole focus to your body. The very first thing that you can do is start to exercise 3 times a day. Minimum 3 times a day. If you start to exercise or do certain stretching exercises, this will directly start to move on your body actions. It will start to control your brain activities. The second thing, what you can do is start to do breathing exercises, which will affect directly to your brain, and it gives you a certain control that you have to start to control all of your emotions with breathing exercises. Another thing that you can do is meditation early in the morning or early before you sleep. You can do your meditation, which controls your brain activities, which will help you to control your all emotions which you're in if you're not coping with your whole life and your reactions against to this pandemic issue. And other than that, you have to consume more water, and you because in stressful periods our body needs more water than what we need in general. So these are things that will allow you to control your brain by using your body, by digesting the right foods and doing the right exercise, such as meditation, and also doing some breathing exercises every day. So with all of these things, so you should be able to control your emotions during these difficult times, and you have to start to recover, and you can continue your life much more successfully. On top of it, what can I tell as the final step from handling this difficult situation is you should, or we should all learn from this pandemic. If you cannot learn anything from this pandemic, you don't have a growing mind. So what will come next, you will start from the very beginning again. So I recommend everyone to learn something from this pandemic and change your beliefs and your thoughts, and start to make a new world in the future, because it's not going to be the same in the coming days. It will be totally different, and we will be all affected by this period. So if I summarize again, in these difficult times, we have to control our psychology, and we have to control our health, and we have to benefit from our body if we are in control of our emotions, and we have to be strong so that we can easily fight against these type of periods in our lives. This is very common because all of us are affected by this, so that's why we are having some difficulties. So what I suggest is to take the control of ourselves individually, and if we are strong, so we can survive, and we can continue our lives much more better than before. Also, as a result of all my my thoughts that I share with you, is whoever adapts to these conditions will continue its life. If you cannot adapt to these conditions, it is too late for you, and it will be giving you a lot of harm, and you will be losing all of you have right at the moment. So we have to take control of our psychology, our mental health, and then our health, and then we can continue to survive in such a pandemic. So I'm not very optimistic in the very near future, but I'm optimistic in the a bit maybe in 2 years of time this will be over. It's not going to stay very short. Some people are assuming that this will end at the end of June, July, or August. I don't think so. It will continue till the end of 2020, and maybe it will affect our 2021, but we should be in control, and we should lead our situations, and we have to take care of ourselves and our family and our community so that we can continue. Otherwise, as I told at the very beginning, it is real, it is serious, it kills. If you're not aware of it, if you don't accept it as a reality, it will be very difficult for you. So we have to be very serious about the condition we have in at the moment. So I have friends in different countries, and we are talking to each other time to time. And my friends in America are suffering. I have lost two of my friends in New York. One of them was a dentist, and one of my friend was working as a public manager. But both of them are passed away. They were Turkish people, and I have some friends in England. As one of them is seriously affected by the virus, and he is in hospital. I have friends in. It is interesting. One of my friends was in India at the moment, and he was in a meditation course over there. He's totally lost, and he's mentally in India. He doesn't know what he has to do. I have friends in Japan, so they are also in a shock. So it is something very serious that we have to be very careful. So I suggest to any of you, you have to be in control of your mental health, and then your health, and then take care rest of the other things. If you're not mentally healthy, so you cannot survive in this pandemic, you can lose your all focus, and you can lose your job, lose your future, your family. So I tell everyone that this is something really, really serious, and it is health, and it is not any other economic crisis or another other type of crisis. It is not a war affecting a part of a world. It is affecting the whole world directly. It doesn't care whether you're rich or you're poor, young or whatever. You just need to take care of yourself by having the right food, and your all of your other environment that you're in, that you can continue for the rest of your life. Otherwise, you will be having difficulties in the very near future. So if I summarize in general, this is something real. It will affect the whole world. And at first, now we are in danger of our health. We can lose our lives, and so it is really serious. But in the very nature, we will see a lot of economic crisis, starting from superpower countries such as America, England, and as you know, some of them all totally are in a difficult condition. But this will affect the whole world step by step. I'm expecting and not a nice scenario or economic situation for the whole world. So it is going to be really difficult. But what we need to do is, yes, this is real. We have to get prepared for that mentally and healthy. And then we have to focus on what we're supposed to do. We have to do most of our duties in our houses, maybe in our cars. We should be very careful in this period of time. I don't know how much time do I have, but it is in general what I need to tell. If there's any questions, I can answer your questions. If there is any more detail you want to ask me, I can give replies to those requests also. So what I expect you is you can ask me questions and I can reply your questions one by one.
Thank you very much, Guven. It was a very realistic presentation. So you gave us the facts. The situation is difficult. Thank you very much. In the meantime, I was running some polls. I asked our colleagues, is interpreting on Zoom difficult? 69% says no, 31% says yes. I have another question. If I may, before Yeah, this is about income. Did you lose income during COVID-19 pandemic? The answers are coming. I'm giving like 45 seconds to 1 minute to answer, but the answers are coming very fast. Oh my God. Oh. And I think you also see the results when I publish them, right, Guven? I think.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm giving it another 5 to 10 seconds because almost, yeah, everybody is answered except two. Maybe you and me, we didn't answer. All 7 to 8 participants answered.
Okay, okay.
And here are the results. Did you lose income during COVID-19 pandemic? The answer is yes. 63%, mostly 8%, a little 18%, almost all is 11%. So we are all on the losing end. I think a colleague, I mean, at this moment in time, we are open to questions, and we can unmute you if you like, if you want to ask questions in English, please. Or you can write in the chat. Questions can be about the crisis or related to what Guven has spoken, or also on interpreting. So we have 10-15 minutes for questions. I see questions in the chat, like if you are hearing other voices, please mute original. There is an option to mute original. If you mute original, you won't hear other voices. Some colleagues are asking questions about channels. I see that a lot of questions are about interpreting. 2 participants have raised their hands. How do I see them? Serhat, do you see who is raising their hand? Well, managing this Zoom is so difficult. You see, we need a technical host in every meeting. You know, some clients are telling that, you know, oh, you are an interpreter, you can do it. Well, I mean, like in a regular meeting, you know, there are sound technicians. In Zoom meetings, we need technical people to take care of all these questions. People may not know how to unmute themselves, how to mute themselves. I am trying to see the hands rising, but yeah, it's mostly, I think, about, yeah, taking which channel to interpret.
So you guys will answer those questions. They're not supposed to related with me. So
I have a question for you. How do you cope yourself? I mean, what do you do? Do you really exercise at home, or you have a wife, kids, and how do you manage? And you said you lost 9 friends.
Yes,
9.
Unfortunately, it is very sad that I lost 9 friends. Yes, because I'm 58 years old, I look very younger. Because I got married very late. That was the reason.
Well, I advise against any sexist comments because most of the interpreting community are women, so they will take it very harshly.
So please excuse my English. I did my best. English is my second language. I would love to learn also Chinese in the coming days, but it will take some more time. So
are you studying Chinese?
Yes, I'm studying Chinese, but it's going to take another 50 years to learn it, I believe. So yes, Umit, I am doing my exercises. Actually, normally I run every morning at 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. We have a nice national park in Göktürk. So every morning about 6 to 7, I run there for about 7 kilometers. But due to this pandemic, we are not allowed to go out and run. So because of other issues. So actually what they did, they closed it. So we are not getting into this running park. So I cannot run in the last 20 days. What I do is I have a certain program which I have got it from YouTube, and I'm doing these stretching exercises and some exercises that I can do, which is really affecting me. And also, I'm a practitioner of a meditation for last 9 years. I'm so meditating, and plus I start to benefit from breathing exercises, which also I have found it very good for me. It helped a lot of my sleeping cycle, because I was really affected at the beginning of this crisis, because I lost most of my business as others due to, because I had a lot of back-to-back cancellations of my contracts with the other business partners. So it was a very tough time at the very beginning. So I couldn't sleep for a couple of days, but breathing exercises helped me a lot. And now I'm sleeping like a baby. And it helped a lot, because if you have a lot of your oxygen saturation, if it's high enough, so you can sleep easily in these difficult times. So on top of it, I am taking care of myself with healthy food. And it's going good so far. And I'm not going very often outside. My kids are doing that. So I'm taking care of myself at home and doing a lot of studies in the internet. So I can get at any other question if there's questions are asked for.
Well, I saw a colleague raising hand, and I muted this colleague, but anybody wants to speak? I see questions in the chat, like in real life, who decides how and when to switch between boot partners? Well, in real life, we don't have 80 interpreters all at once. And if we have it, we have the list. So in real life, this has to be planned on advance. I mean, this is a mock event. We are just giving the chance to as many colleagues as possible. In real life, you know your boot partner, you know by name. So I think you need to decide with your boot partner, for example, okay, let's switch over every 15 minutes, every 20 minutes. It's up to you. I mean, in real life, do not expect the host to be in charge every minute. And also in real life, please ask your employers to have a rehearsal before the real event, because I mean, at the moment there were so many languages. We had 12 languages, 12, but Zoom has 8 channels. So maybe maybe Zoom is not the ideal tool for your use case. There are other interpreting platforms as well. I mean, like Interprefy, Kudo, Catalava, VoiceBoxer, Interactio. So I think it's a good idea to get acquainted with other tools as well, not just Zoom. I mean, we are in favor of Zoom because a lot of our clients are using Zoom. It is cost effective. And it is, if it is a bilingual event, just 2 languages or 3 languages, it's very easy to use. And if you know your boot partners, it goes smoothly. But I mean, if it is 7, 8 booths like today, I mean, imagine if you were in a hotel and there were 8 booths, it takes some preparation and coordination. And maybe it's a good idea to have a chief interpreter, someone who is the head of the interpreters and coordinates the team. So, I mean, making things online helps saving some costs like travel, hotel, maybe the physical equipment. But it doesn't mean that we sacrifice our standards. I think this conference is a proof that, an event without a technical host may be a disaster. So please advise your clients. And I know there are some clients with us. I've seen African Tax Authority, for example. I mean, such an honor. I mean, I hope you're not here to tax us, but I am glad to have a tax authority with us today. And I mean, I have seen other government officers from Turkey, and also a number of, I mean, I have the full list. I don't want to disclose any names today, but I am seeing a lot of conference organizers today as well. I mean, my recommendation is to take this seriously, talk to your interpreters, make a rehearsal, and make it properly, and always hire a technical host, like someone who will take care of the questions, someone who will take care of the panelists. And please don't forget that this is a meeting type event, meaning everybody has a video. Many meetings are designed as a webinar. In webinars, only the panelists, for example, Guven will have the video. And if you are working on Zoom, in a webinar, interpreters also have video. Because at the moment, Zoom recognizes interpreters as a panelist. I think they will develop it later on. I mean, we don't have a separate entry to a webinar. This is a meeting type. You don't see it today, but you will see. There's another question about equipment, microphones. I mean, I don't want to name any brands or models. I mean, it's up to you. But what I use is I'm using a noise canceling headset, meaning I don't hear anything from outside. And it has a built-in acoustic shock protection. Because in ISO standard equipment, apologies, Guven, I am in technical matters about interpreting.
Take your time.
Yeah, in regular ISO standard booths, like Bosch or Sennheiser is installed, there is some kind of audio protection. But on your computer, you don't have it. And if you are turning the volume up to the top, and if something goes wrong, there is a chance that you may harm your ears. So use over-the-ear headsets, not in the ear headsets. I mean, there are, plugs. I mean, things you use for jogging on iPhone, on your tablet, on your phone. Don't use them. Please invest in a headset which is over the ear, has a mute button. It's very handy because myself, I can unmute myself. I think I muted myself. Do you still hear me? I think you do, hopefully. Also, with an acoustic shock protection, it will protect your health. Logitech, Sennheiser, Bosch, they all have on Amazon and other online stores, they have those type of microphones. But if you later ask me in private, I can give you, specific models, but I don't want to advertise any model in a public video. So question, in real life, will we be able to hand over to our booth partner ourselves? No. You know your booth partner, you mute yourself, your booth partner unmutes herself. That's how it works. I mean, it's not like handing over. In the booth, we have two sets, like I mute myself and I just gesture to my colleague, or just tap on the shoulder. On internet, you cannot tap on the shoulder. There's no tap on the shoulder button at the moment. So you can chat on WhatsApp or you can chat on Zoom in private and say, well, hey, do you want to take over? But normally, if you and your booth partner are assigned on the channel, you just need to text, okay, you take over, okay, darling, and then you mute yourself, your booth partner unmute herself or himself. That's how it works. And of course, when you start, please unmute your microphone. Amina Al-Fariji, do you have a question, sir, or a remark? I'm unmuting you. Esra Özkaya, PhD from Istanbul University. Esra, do you have a remark?
Yes, actually, Guven Bey was kind enough to also answer that in the chat, but so that for the sake of the other participants, I just would like to, if it's okay for you, Guven Bey, can I just repeat my question so that the other participants will be able to hear that too? Is that okay?
It's okay for me. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That was perfect. It just really feels so good to hear different opinions, different perspectives from different industries, and to see
endüstrilerden ve endüstriden meslektaşlarımızı da gördük. Hepimizi burada görmekten dolayı büyük bir mutluluktu.
Presentation. You said that once this is over, hopefully it's going to be over one day. We're not going to be living in the same old world or economy or the industry. So what kind of economic-wise and social-wise, what do you think is going to be the new feature? What kind of repercussions do we have to go through in the near future? So personally, your opinions. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ümit, again, and the whole team. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Esra. So, first of all, the social distance is a major problem of this coronavirus. So it doesn't allow us to get closer to each other in social areas. So this will affect directly, like traveling. This will directly affect the entertainment business. Like today, New York is very much concerned about nightlife of New York, which was a major industry for New York state. Now they are afraid that nobody will go to the bars and nightclubs. So these will be a lot of problems, and the people will be jobless due to this reason. Nobody will again go to the football match or basketball match. Nobody will go to our movies, theaters. So we could not be able to travel maybe with airplanes anymore, maybe with buses. So these will be all affected. We will not get together and eat in a crowded, crowded restaurants. So these will be wholly affected. So till at the end of this pandemic for all the world. Today I have received some articles from United States that they're estimating to be able to control this pandemic in America in between July and August, which is very a positive estimation, but I don't think that this is something possible, because this is really kind of a different scenario of which has to be considered and detailedly understood why we have this pandemic and why at this time of the year. These are really interesting questions. So if I summarize my answer, yes, a lot of sectors will be affected, especially which requires social gatherings. So this will affect the schools, this will affect kindergartens, this will affect all community activities. So till the end of this pandemic is totally cured from the whole world. But we will be totally affected in the near future. We will not be able to escape from this coronavirus. This will affect us. This will affect our immune system. But if you are powerful, if you're strong enough to fight, you can survive. Other than that, the social distance will be a major issue for most of the certain sectors which requires this kind of environment. So I am not very positive for these businesses for the whole world. So can you imagine for a year or for 6 months, if these airlines do not work on the whole world, this will cause a lot of problems. So it will affect a lot of people to lose their jobs, and other things will be affected with the domino effect. So this is what I expect from the near future. I hope it will not happen, but what we need to do in these days, we have to be really, really, really realistic about this issue. This is not a joke. We are not watching a movie. This is not a TV program. This is something real. It kills. So some people on earth are benefiting from this, but as a human beings, we have to really get together. We have to be against this thing, and we have to lead our future, and we have to forget the nationalism. We have to forget certain things. So we have to get rid of all of these things, because we understood from this pandemic that money is not the solution. The solution is the human being itself. So basic is much more important than the universal issues such as money and other powers, and that we, I don't want to mention it, so I don't want to drive a lot of attention on me, so that I'm against lots of things. But my experience of 60 years on Earth, so I wasn't expecting a pandemic in my entire life, but I'm in the middle of it. I wasn't prepared for this. I wasn't educated what to do for this, but I need to survive. Most of us will survive. My thought is, who could adapt to these situations will continue. Who were not, I'm very sorry for all of these people who could not adapt to these situations. Any other question?
Thank you.
Yes. Hello.
By the way, that was a question I turned into a poll. I said, tell us your favorite interpreting platform. And there were multiple responses. 63% now says Zoom. I'm not sure if all of us have tested other platforms. I must say, every platform has its advantages. For example, ZipDX, nobody said ZipDX, but ZipDX works on the phone. I mean, that is good if there is poor internet reception, like Eastern Turkey, Middle East, Africa, or in the middle of nowhere. So if you have a meeting on ZipDX, you can literally, without internet, just on any regular phone, or mobile phone, you can use it. All you need to do is you just dial #1, it is channel 1, #2, channel 2, #3, channel 3. So ZipDX is, there is no video, but there are circumstances that we only need phone, or we only have phone connection. So ZipDX is good. Maybe you haven't tried, but the answers I see, Interpretify is popular, and Kudo is very popular. They're good. VoiceBoxer, yes, they're also very good. Interactio is used by European Parliament. So like it or not, if you get a job from European Parliament, you will end up using Interactio, dear colleagues. That was a question. Is it possible to have relay on Zoom? No, not at the moment. Maybe they will add later. Not at the moment. If there are other questions, if anyone else want to speak, or if any of our dear interpreters who, tested Zoom today, if you want to share your comments, I saw Daniela Fonseca, Nina from Finland, Valeria, Vittoria, Vicky from Italy, Vivian Hines, Yati Shukla, many names. If you have any comments, Amina Al-Farji, she has a question and she wants to be unmuted. Amina, let me find you first. Yeah, Amina, sir, you are unmuted. I think you are, yeah, please go ahead, sir. And also move to English channel, please. Amina?
Do you guys hear me?
Yes, sir, please.
Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I was in another channel. Thank you, Guven, for the presentation. My question is, I mean, most of us here are working as independent contractors. So we have clients and customers. I mean, during this pandemic, most of us have hardship, especially in income. My question is, do you have any business advices that we can use towards our clients? For example, to keep our existing partners and customers, or even to explore new other customers and clients during this pandemic. To keep, for example, our existing customers, do we need, for example, to change our terms, policies, waiving cancellation policies, for example, reducing fees? I mean, do you have any advice, business advices, like to keep our customers or to explore more customers, especially if it's just temporary during this pandemic? Thank you.
Guven, can we take this together?
Sure.
Just from an interpreting point of view, and by the way, Guven is a business consultant, so he is the right person to ask. He helped me brand my company, and he also helped me rebuild my company from its ashes. So I mean, he knows how to do this really well. I mean, he is the one. If you feel like you have collapsed, he is the man to ask how to rebuild yourself. And from an interpreter point of view, I strongly advise against reducing fees, because if you reduce fees today, it will be very hard to increase them again. However, on internet, a lot of meetings are like 30 minutes or 40 minutes, very short meetings. So you may have a different pricing for very short meetings. I mean, ideally, I mean, that can be like 10% discount, 15% discount, but not, I mean, half rate. I mean, for that is what I would recommend. I mean, I will definitely advise against. By the way, somebody is an English channel, but interpreting into Arabic. So can you please move yourself to Arabic? Somebody is talking to English channel. Thank you. Well, this is my 50 cents of advice, but about branding and resilience. Guven, what do you want to say?
Okay. And such a condition or such a situation which we are in, pandemic or whatever you say, shutdown. So here, all of us, first, we realize that we are human beings. First, we have understand this value that this is more important than anything else. So we have to be careful about human beings. So what I suggest you during these days, everybody is very weak on human relations. So also I'm doing the same thing in these days. What I do, and I really recommend you that in these days, call your clients, your customers more often than before, because they want to talk. They want to understand what's going on your side, on their side, on the whole world. So the more you talk to your clients and your customers and understand their fears, their problems, their focuses on these days, and if you create certain solutions for their human needs and handle those human needs, you will be totally position yourself in an extraordinary condition. So in these days, if you call your customers and clients for business, not for human relations, you'll lose the game. So in these days, we have to sacrifice a lot, and we have to humanize more, and we have to go hand to hand and unite so that we tell our clients that the business is not important than you. We have to give the message to them that you are more important than our business, because if you do not exist, I cannot make business. So I support you, you support me, we go hand to hand, and we succeed together. If you give these messages to your clients and to your business partners, so then after this whole issue is over, then you will be totally show your strongness, your positiveness, and how you care to your clients and customers, that you continue with them. If you ask more business, more money, more contracts from your customers and clients today, you will be losing the game. You have to more humanize in these days, and this will benefit you in the mid-run and the long run. So I suggest you, please call more, contact more with your customers and clients, but ask them.
Ma chiedete come state, come va.
يتعاملون مع هذه الظروف الصعبة. إذن كل هذا سيقوي
to the point of from your heart, and you just tell them that you care them and they are important for you. If you give these messages, you will succeed at the end. But if you do something else, it will be totally different. So you cannot do anything else in these conditions. So why would I suggest to all of you who are doing business at this time, please more humanize, please more make human connections with your clients and friends, with your customers. So care about them, please help them, support them mentally, physically, whatever you can do. If you do not humanize in these days, otherwise you will be totally cleared from their agenda, and they will much more focus who did help in these difficult days. They will continue with these people. So my suggestions for the business owners today, please make more connections with your clients, and do not ask more business. Ask about their life, ask about their family, ask about their environment, conditions, and ask them how you can help to them, and if you can do some discounts.
I think temporarily Guven's internet has stopped. You're back, sir. Guven? Yeah, your internet had a problem. Now it is okay. If you unmute yourself, you'll be able to speak.
Okay. Did you
were just talking about asking, being human, asking how we can help to our clients, and if they need a discount, try to understand them. But I mean,
but yeah, so we have to, but I mean, we have to read.
But I mean, are you saying that, for example, if the daily rate for interpreting is $1,000, are you suggesting we offer $100? I mean, 90% discount, or what is a discount?
Discounts depends on, you have to regulate it according to country, but discount is these days, if you can do, if you can afford it, has to be close to 50%.
That is what you suggest, but I mean, if
I suggest you 50% discount in these days, you can do it 40%. Don't do any discount for 5%, 10%, 15%. This is ridiculous. If you do something really support to your market, if you want to really take care of your customers and clients, do something really remarkable so that will be affected by that, so they will value you and position you in a different way so that you get a long-term business from your customers and clients. But if you make a discount of 5%, 10%, 15%, this is something that you shouldn't even mention about it. So I recommend you do something really, really remarkable, 40%, 50% discount, so that you will benefit from this help on the long run.
Can I have, I mean, I beg to differ, because in our business, normally our clients have multiple costs like flights, the sound equipment, the hotel, the meeting room. On the internet, when they are hiring a freelancer interpreter, and I think most of us in this room are freelancers, with some of us not. The only cost is interpreter. So why are we offering a discount? Because the client is already saving from the hotel, from the airplane ticket, from the meals. I'm in my home, I'm taking care of everything. And why should I offer 50% discount? Maybe 10, but why 50? They are already cutting on costs.
Yes, that's correct. They're cutting their costs, but here you have to give the message of something. If you're charging 1,000 TL, or I don't know the value of it, how you do it in these days, but whatever you're charging in today's or maybe last year, if you keep on the same charge, or if you ask them to pay the same value, they will think in a different way. I don't know your business very well. How does it work at the moment? Yes, it is very costs a lot of money if you do it in a conference hall, in a hotel, a lot of traveling, these kind of things. Yes, with Zoom and internet, this is going to be really cheap. Your client will recognize this price difference, but if you do something remarkable for these days, like 30%, 40% discount, this will really good investment for your future. This pandemic will not go forever, but some behaviors, some thoughts will be totally different. But after this pandemic is over, they will recognize you with your discount, and they value you much more, and they want to continue with you, with not the ones that they make any with the small discount. So that's why this is my suggestion. Yes, with this Zoom project, this kind of translation, it is very cheap. It becomes very benefitable for everyone. So what I say is, if you can do such a favor for your clients and customers, you will be recognized as a human being after this pandemic. Otherwise, you will be remembered always. You are much more greedy, and you're much more money-oriented interpreter. That's what I want to mean. Here today, values are different. People are very sensitive in these days.
Thank you, Guven. I think we have a difference of opinion in this regard, but I know where you're coming from. I understand your suggestions. Staying close to the client is very important. I understand that, but I still insist that the clients are already saving costs. Like, 90% of the costs do not exist. Because 90% of an event cost is the hotel, the flight, the meals, the transport. So we are only 5% of the whole budget. So already 95% is saved. So why would interpreter do another, maybe 10, okay, or maybe for very short events. For example, some of our clients have meetups, 20, 30 minutes, that's all. 30 minutes, I mean, I yawn and 30 minutes passes, okay. But I mean, for a full day, for 2 hours, 3 hours,
I mean,
I don't know.
the 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 point is just saving some money to be recognized later, and that's the point which I agree with Guven. I mean, 50% sound really like too much, but between 5 and 10 sound reasonable. There is a term that we use in business, which is the competitive advantage.
Yes.
I mean, everybody knows that. Most of us are staying home now. Shortness of lack of work, which means abundance of interpreters out there. So we have to come up with a competitive advantage so we can, keep or gain that market. 5%, 10% discount. It's something doable. It will not like break us, but something like to attract a customer or client. And also, which I liked about Guven, it's for the future. I will be recognized for that in the future when this pandemic is over. They will come back to me. They will tell me, thank you, Amin, you've been there. And in fact, if you see the emails nowadays, everybody is doing something. Due to the COVID-19, we appreciate our customers. We waived I've seen it, we waived the participation fees, we waived such and such fees. So these the type of actions are really like appreciated, and I like a lot of customer companies that I deal with. They've done some steps during this pandemic, and that's something we should do as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any question?
There are two technical comments. May I take them?
Sure, please.
One of them is about internet connection. Interpreters are concerned. I mean, I'm using my personal internet. Am I responsible for the internet connection? I mean, my suggestion is, try to have, if you can afford, a second internet connection to your home. One of them can be a mobile internet. The other one can be a landline. In Turkey, we have multiple options, so better to have two of them from, separate companies. It's a good idea to have a backup plan, and also it is ideal to have a colleague on standby. Some companies are doing this. When they are sending their offer, they are saying, well, I mean, there might be a cut on internet. So do you want us to have another interpreter on standby, even for short meetings? And they charge a standby fee. For example, if your fee per day is 500 euros, so you add another 200 euros for the standby interpreter. I mean, not every company takes this, but I mean, the question is, do you want to lose interpretation during the meeting? So this is an option. The other option is, in some countries, I think Germany, I saw on Twitter, in Germany, and also in Greece, I saw one, they are building interpreter hubs, meaning it's a studio where interpreters can go. There is a power generator, a power supply. There is high-speed broadband internet. So interpreter goes and translates in that studio, not at home. It's an option. You don't go to a hotel, you don't go to a public place, but you go to a house-like or an office-like place, which is cleaned, relatively hygienic, relatively more hygienic. I mean, it's an option to work via an interpreting studio. And I believe in the next few months, we will be seeing more studios, maybe technical companies, today's technical sound engineers, because they are losing jobs, they will transform their business into an interpreting studio. I mean, I am not sure if I will go to a hotel, because hotels are, hubs. Everybody goes there. But if I know only certain people go to or enter a building, a room, the interpreters, if I know it is regularly cleaned, disinfected, So I would feel more comfortable. So I think that business is coming up. It's another option. But the other option, I mean, in some countries, home internet is good. I mean, today, I think most of us were at home, and interpretation, except from one or two colleagues, were quite nice, especially in Portuguese and Spanish and Italian. I checked, and the sound quality was very high. So that means it's possible. You can work at home. I mean, as far as the managing channels, well, managing channels is the responsibility of the interpreter and the technical host. Like in any event, if you had 8 booths, you don't want to stay in the English channel. I mean, because your colleagues will hate you. So managing the channels is your responsibility as an interpreter. But I mean, this is a mock event. I mean, we had 80 interpreters taking over one after the other. Normally, you will know who is your colleague, who is your partner. So you can, and I talked this before, I strongly advise that you have a rehearsal. If this is your first Zoom or first remote, request a rehearsal so that you can test everything and see how it goes. So yeah, I think these are the answers. I am interested in standby interpreters. What percentage of the rate would they be paid? I mean, I can't advise for every country, but I think a standby interpreter should be entitled something like 30% of the regular rate. Can be 50%. Depends on the duration as well. I mean, if it is a 30-minute event, maybe just 10, 50. I don't know. I mean, it's up to you as well. I mean, but I mean, anything from 15, 20 to 50%, depending on the duration of the event. A standby interpreter is a good idea. Also, if the event is longer than 3 hours, I mean, this event is more than an hour now. I'm sure most of us are feeling tired already, including Guven Bey. I mean, because looking at the screen all the time, I mean, it is very tiring. It's not like a regular meeting, you know. I mean, we didn't have any coffee break, for example. I mean, we couldn't take a rest because the video screens us all the time, you know. I mean, it's very stressful. So for full day events, I strongly recommend 3 interpreters instead of 2. This is very exhausting. I mean, instead of a standby event, 3. Oh, there's a, although I appreciate knowledge of Mr. Guven, yeah, I mean, there are comments from the community, Guven. They are, and colleagues are also advising against reducing the rates. So I think you opened Pandora's box, buddy.
Okay, I just, I mean, you're looking from the point of interpreters. I agree with you. So yes, you are doing the most difficult job on earth. It is not easy. I did, as you know, translation for like 6 years in my life. I did a lot of translations, simultaneous, this and that. I know how difficult is your job, but my advice was in general for all businesses, not especially for interpreters, if you feel that this is what you need, you have to earn, charge for it. I don't ask you to really
أن تقوموا
to lose
بهذا.
But what I'm telling that if you plant the seeds today in difficult days in your customers' mind, in the long run, you will be the winners. That's what I'm telling in general, not for, especially for entrepreneurs. Yes, from the next feature, for the coming feature, I totally agree that translation, interpretation on the whole world will be only done on the internet. Nobody will get together anymore. Nobody will go to conferences. Nobody will be all together to listen to a presentation anymore. This is done. This is finished. So we need you guys. You will make a lot of money with this because your business, according to my foresight or forecast, you will be making 5 times, 6 times more money than today. because we will need you more on the internet than in the other environments. So if you learn how to use Zoom on these platforms to succeed, to be able to handle a successful translation, you will be the winners, because this is going to be an expanding business in global wise. So please stick on what you're doing. You will make the discount or this much, that much. I don't mind about it. Earn as much as you think that you really need to earn. It is your decision. But if you do a certain discounts that today for this epidemic, this is what I'm telling, then this will help you in the long run. This is my advice. If you help them in the difficult times, in the long time, and in the good times, people remember you with good memories, and they will give you more and more business. This was my motto I want to share with you all, guys. So this is what I want to tell in short. Yes, any question?
Alina Feiruz, you are raising your hand. I'm trying to unmute you, but you need to unmute yourself. Do you want to say something, Alina?
Hello to everybody. It was very, very useful, this meeting for me, not just as an interpreter, but as a person as well. As Mr. Guven said, yes, it's a very difficult time, and it's a time when we understand that it's more important to be human than to be professional. But I also agree with Mr. Umit, because after this pandemic, we will have to live as well. So, you know, if we make a discount, a big discount after the pandemic, it will be very, very hard to get it up, to get up the price again. So yes, we have to be in contact with the clients, but not to do the big discount, because you know, we
Alina's internet was not good, I believe.
Yeah, we are losing.
already lost a lot of work, so I guess we without working. Yes, my question was, well, actually it was a technical one. I would like to know where is the next meeting, and I would like to know if in the next meeting we can make a translation just like in Boot. So me and my partner, we can translate 50 minutes or 20 minutes and change. So this was a technical question, but already Gözde from Dragoman answered me. So I guess the answer,
Okay.
if you have any other answers, Mr. Umit, I would like to have your answer.
Thank you very much for all the comments, all the remarks. I'm also scanning the chat, all the comments. Well, I think we need to wrap up. It was a very long session. I mean, first of all, I want to thank Guven for taking his time. I know you are one of the most expensive advisors in Turkey. We didn't pay him anything, so it was his courtesy to join us.
I made a discount.
It's giving us 100% discount today.
Yes, I give you 100% discount. I will charge you after this.
Well, we will have Raki and fish on the Bosphorus.
Okay, that's acceptable.
And we will appreciate you forever, Guven.
Yes. You can call me anytime you want. I'm available for all of you. This is my purpose on earth. Help others.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. For the coming events, I mean, our plan is to have a mock interpreting event every 2 weeks. That's our plan. But I mean, there are, there are more than 20,000 conference interpreters on this planet. And it seems like Dragoman has suddenly become so popular. Everyone is talking to us. I mean, we will do our best to have as many events as possible. But my advice is, in your local community, as your local association, for example, you can buy a Zoom package, Pro package, which is $15, and webinar package, which is $40. $55. With $55, it is for 1 month. In 1 month, you can have unlimited number of events on yourself. So my suggestion is do this, invest $55 and invite your colleagues. I am seeing on internet, on South Africa, colleagues are doing this. I saw in Brazil and Argentina, I think there are some colleagues doing this. In England and Germany, I also saw on Twitter. I mean, I'm just scanning tweets. I would recommend that. But otherwise, as Dragoman, my personal agenda is to have every 2 weeks another topic. For example, 2 weeks from now, I have discussed with several doctor friends with as experienced as Guven to come and give us advices on health. So I think it's a good idea to have an expert who gives us insights about business, health, social life, sports, I mean, maybe arts. And then we also, hone our skills, interpretation skills. Otherwise, about remote interpretation, I'm also scanning the chats. I mean, it's not going to replace face-to-face interpretation. This is another avenue. This is another opportunity for earning our livelihood. It is not something to replace face-to-face or physical interpretation. And we are in no position to suggest that remote is better. We are not saying that. Nobody says that. Even companies who are producing interpreting platforms are not saying that. But this is another form. During the pandemic, it has become more visible, but I agree with Guven. This is going to be so big. I'm telling you, this is going to be so big that you may possibly imagine. Because in the past, only very rich and very strong brands could offer a press conference in a luxury hotel. Now we will be seeing local brands organizing press conferences in 10 languages. In your lifetime, you will be seeing this. A company from India will send you an email. Hello, we are having a meeting on Kudo or Interpretify or Zoom or Skype or WebEx or GoToMeeting. Can you translate for us? So this is a different business format, ladies and gentlemen. It is not physical versus remote. It is a remote on. It's not a remote only plan, but it is a plan with remote interpreting. And I'm telling you, I agree with Guven. There will be a lot of new. I mean, some colleagues are suggesting this is temporary, but I am suggesting otherwise, because once the businesses taste it, they will be asking for it. I mean, not the big pharma company. They can invest in the luxury Hilton or Kempinski or New York Palace. They can do it. And they value it because they need to see people face to face. The power of the coffee break is unbreakable. The power of the networking dinner is unbreakable, because you sit next to each other, you talk, you enjoy a few drinks, you become friends, and you build trust, and then it continues. However, the power of internet should not be underestimated. We are not comparing one against each other. This is another avenue which has become more visible during a pandemic scenario, but I believe it will continue and it will only grow. And I hope, as a closing remark, the scientists will find a cure to this novel virus as soon as possible, while at our homes, we are praying to the God or our God in different languages. I think you saw it. People are praying in 160 languages, and science will give the answer. That is my final remark. I thank Guven and all the interpreters and participants for joining us, and hope to see at least some of you in 2 weeks. Bye now. Bye everyone. Stay safe, stay fit, stay at home, and don't lose hope. United, we are stronger, okay? Bye-bye.
Bye.